Hello, we are live, and I'm just gonna wait until we get some people in here so we can get a little sound check. So if anyone joining wants to let me know if you can hear me and everything looks okay. Hello, hello. I see Cass is here. Hi, Cass. Good morning. Hey, Christical. Everyone can hear me okay? Hi, Sid. We have Sid and Bella here with me today.
Hi.
They're going to be my little helpers as needed. So they're keeping an eye on the comments, and they're also able to help answer any questions that you guys have. Okay, so today we are doing a class on these 3 nails. We're doing a Diet Coke Christmas. I just love Diet Coke and it gives me the vibe of Christmas, like that vintage Santa Diet Coke or like Coca-Cola vibe is kind of where I got the inspiration for this set. And we're just going to do a little follow along with me. We're going to keep it nice and casual. So I'm going to go through all the products that we're needing today, and throughout, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Hi, Natasha. Hi. Okay, so before we jump in here, let's go through the products that you'll need. So for polishes, we'll be needing a glitter silver, which is 104 from Ugly Duckling. We got 43 black, 222, which is a jelly red, Foil It, which is a foil gel, No Wipe top coat, clear build base, and for art gel we have black, white, and red. And for 3D gels, we have our 3D white and Emboss It. Some additional products that you'll need is a super fine glitter, kind of like this one. And it has kind of like a iridescent sparkle to it. And I also have these guys that are like a little disco tile. You can use also like a hexagon glitter if you don't have the square disco tiles. And you'll also need a foil of some sort. I really like a foil that has these like holographic shards. It kind of represents ice to me. It can be silver, it can be pink, it can be red. It doesn't really matter the underneath color as much because we'll be putting a jelly red on top. You'll additionally need a buffer, medium, and well, you might need a file to prep your tips, but you know. For brushes, we have a Silicone Tool. We have the duck paddle with the spatula, Acrylic 3D, which is just a tiny little 3D brush for acrylic, Blinger Tool. This is going to be used to apply our disco tiles. And the brush you'll need the most is just a very small, tiny detailer. And this is what I use for all of the painting. Okay, so, oh yeah, you'll also need a silver chrome. Okay, so as long as there's no questions, we'll go ahead and get started. I think we're gonna go ahead and start with this guy. I don't know why it keeps going in and out of focus. How's it looking on your end?
Yeah, if you back up just a teeny bit. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're going to start off with this guy. There's multiple layers, so we'll get started with a nail tip. And I've prepped this just by filing the edge. Yeah, I know the sparkles are very hard to keep in focus. too much sparkle is, yeah. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go in with the silver glitter, and just one coat is all we need. This is gonna act as a background for our disco tile sparkle.
Oh my god, it looks so good on the video.
Yeah, that looks great.
It's blinding.
One coat coverage, stunning. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and cure that. And I'm gonna take the disco tile sparkle and I'm just gonna go ahead and pop it into the lid here. Okay, before we go any further, let's open our Diet Coke. Whoa! So if you're joining me live here and following along, crack open that Diet Coke. Let's have a good time.
Clean up on aisle 4.
That's the exciting part.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, slids on cleanup. Oh yeah, that's what I needed. Okay. So our glitter is cured. And we're gonna do a thin layer of Build-A-Base. I've done this with top coat, but I find that Build-A-Base being a bit thicker helps the glitter stay in place a little bit easier. And it slides around a little less, okay? So, using the wax end of the Blinger Tool, I'm gonna go in from the center. Okay. And just aligning the tile nice and straight. Okay. And we're keeping them pretty close together with not much space in between.
Pretty.
It's tedious, but it's one of my favorite things to do. There we go. Okay.
Sometimes they get stuck together.
Yeah, when they get stuck together, just peel them apart. So as you can see, there's a little bit on the edge, so it's not quite enough for another disco tile, but it's also kind of a little bit of an awkward amount of space. So you have two options here. You can either add an additional disco tile and then file it off after you've like encapsulated everything if you really want that full effect, or we can just adjust our tiles just a bit so that it kind of has a little bit more spacing and it fits a little better.
So sparkly.
Yeah. So once we have our first center line, this is going to help us guide the rest. So in that second line, we're just lining it right up with the last one, and we're not staggering it at all. We are going side by side. There we go. Okay. So for example, this tile, it fits almost perfectly. So that's going to be something we can easily buff later to make sure it fits the nail perfectly.
Natasha says, love the ambient tunes.
Okay, we can hear it. Amazing. We have Christmas lo-fi on in the background. It's very, very cute.
Let us know if it's too loud.
Yeah. If it's distracting, we can turn it off or turn it down. Perfect. Okay.
It looks so good.
Yeah, I love how that looks. That's stunning.
Oh, yes. When they all get put together.
Yeah, it really comes together.
And then after you top coat it.
Yep.
So good.
Cute. So this is a little tedious, but the result is a full disco nail, so it's totally worth it. So we're just going on the last row here. Things are getting a little... There we go. Okay. So this is how it looks before we cure. We have a little bit of space on the sides and around the corners, but that's okay because that glitter really shines through and allows us to kind of fake that disco look. Okay. Just gonna adjust. Make sure everything looks straight. Stunning. Okay. Oh no.
She's fallen.
There we go. I bumped it. Okay. Now very carefully, let's cure. Perfect. Hello. So the next step that we're going to do is encapsulate. So I'm going to use the Build-A-Base Clear. This is going to self-level really nicely and not make our nail too thick. You could also use like a sculpting gel, or you could do like a couple layers of a top coat or a thicker top coat if you have one. But just make sure that whatever product you're using, that it's kind of like a very clear, has like a lot of clarity to it because we don't want to cloud our disco tiles.
It's so satisfying.
Yeah. And what the clear does, other than just encapsulating, is it also like magnifies the glitter. Okay, so I'm just making sure that everything is nice and surrounded and that our coating is super smooth with the detail brush. Okay, so I'm loving how that's looking. Let's pop that in the lamp. Okay. So for a full cure of 60 seconds, we're popping that in there. Okay. And then we're going to be grabbing just like a lint-free wipe and some alcohol to remove the dispersion layer once that's done. And we're going to give it a buff. So now that that is out, we'll give it a nice wipe. And we're just gonna grab the medium side of the buffer and just go all the way over the entire nail, making sure that everything is nice and even. And you can also go around the edges to make sure the disco tiles are nice and flush.
Jessical's writing a little reminder about the code that we have.
Yeah, use code Allie15 at Ugly Duckling Nails, and you can receive 15% off your order until Sunday at midnight, 11:59 PST. Okay, so now we have our buffed nail with our disco tiles. Everything's nice and smooth, thin, looking great. I'm going to grab a product I did not tell you guys to grab. That's my bad. We're going to be using the tacky top coat, okay? And we're just going to do a layer of tacky top on here. And the reason being is we need something for our 3D gel to stick to. You could stick your 3D white directly onto the matte nail, but I find that it does not grab on as easily as if you were to use like a tacky top. So just a thin coat of that, and that's gonna go in and cure. And while that's curing, we can start creating our candy cane.
Yay.
So this candy cane is on top and it's made with the 3D white gel. So I'll show you how we do that. So this guy is kind of like a clay type product, so we can kind of sculpt any shape we want out of it. I'm gonna grab the paddle brush and just scoop out a decent amount. Okay, only about like that much. And I'm gonna take my gloves. And you wanna make sure when you're using this product, especially if you're not painting over it, because we're using the white color of the 3D gel. If you're not painting over it, we want to make sure that we're not incorporating any fuzz, fluff, lint, dust, whatever into it. So I like to just like make sure my space is nice and clean. So if I was using this product, I'd probably use it before I pull out any type of chrome, because that gets in there and totally ruins it. So we can just use the back of our glove here as long as it's nice and clean. You can also use a matte or a silicone mat too. It's totally up to you. And we're just rolling it out into a little log shape.
So cute.
It's very fun. If you liked to play with Play-Doh when you were a kid, you're gonna love this.
Get that out of your system.
Yeah. So when I'm rolling it out, I like to make sure that it's even all the way across. So I put pressure very evenly throughout. Okay. And if it's sticking to your gloves a bit too much, just make sure to, put some alcohol in your glove, just wipe off that sticky layer, and you can continue going. Another trick for the stickiness is to kind of use a little bit of clear acrylic on your gloves, kind of like how you would with baking using flour. Okay, so this is a perfect size, and we're gonna grab our nail, and this is where it can be a little tricky, but I'm gonna take the spatula and pick it up. Whoop. I can already tell it's going to be a little too long, so let's cut a bit off. and just chop it. There we go. And then we can roll that end. There. Okay. So ooh, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of get the shape I want here. And then I'm just gonna try and place it centered onto the nail. There we go. So if you saw what I was doing there, I had it backwards on my glove, and then when I pressed it on, it placed it the right way. So now I can take my spatula and just like straighten it out, fix up the edge. I like to use that flat edge of the spatula to really keep it nice and straight. And then this is where you can also use your silicone tool. And we're just gonna kind of push and place things exactly where we want them to be. Try not to play around with it too much because we want to keep it nice and smooth. Okay. So candy cane's a little bit bigger than the other one. That's okay though. Okay, and if there is any parts that have like a little bit of roughness, you can't really see much, but
looks great.
Yeah, if there's like anything at all, you can just take your 3D brush, this guy, okay, add a little bit of alcohol, and just brush any of that texture out. This is also a really great method if you have like a piece of dust that you need to get rid of. It will just help pick that up.
Could definitely make a 3D snow with this.
Yeah, someone just said you can make a 3D snowman. That's such a cute idea.
Oh yeah, I definitely do a 3D snowman.
Like roll out the balls.
The balls, yeah, that would be so fun.
Has a little nose.
Oh my god,
A little
cute
carrot
little
nose.
carrot nose. Okay, let's cure that. Something I'll also do if like say it's really rough is like I'll grab a little bit of alcohol in my glove and even just like slightly smooth it out. Just a little smoothing. Yeah. But honestly, that turned out great. That was not giving me any issues at all today, which is amazing. So, the next part is to paint our candy cane stripes. And we're going to use red. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little bit onto the palette. This stuff is very pigmented, so we don't need much. Okay. A gingerbread man? Okay, yeah, I was also thinking about doing a gingerbread man. Would love to do that. Okay. So I'm kind of working through the art gel with my brush, making sure that my brush is like fully and evenly coated. Okay. That 3D gel has had a 60-second cure, so we're good to go. You always want to make sure you fully cure this because obviously it is a little bit thicker. We want it to cure all the way through. Okay. And when painting candy cane stripes, I typically look at a reference photo because I feel like the way that the candy stripes are going is really important to make a good candy cane. Because you can make them all diagonal like this and it would look okay, but when it wraps around like this, it gives that true candy cane effect. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
You know? Like
Yeah.
when it goes, if you just do them
It
all
almost
diagonal.
looks like it's in a different direction, but you have to make sure you're going the same.
I know, it kind of messes with my
Yeah.
mind a little bit. So, in order to make sure that I do it correctly, I like to just map it out first with thin lines, and then as long as I like them, I'll kind of go into the thicker lines after. So, just thinly like this.
That's a great idea. You don't have to commit to the...
Yeah, low
thick
low
line.
commitment. We love that. wrap around. Okay, so we have them all mapped out. I'm liking where it's placed. You can see how it angled around the curve of the candy cane. So now we're going to go ahead and just thicken up all those lines. So when we're working with a 3D painted thing like this, we want to make sure that we go around to all the edges. If we want that really like charm-like effect.
Like
Round.
rounds it out.
Yeah, so we can see like from every angle, like when a client's wearing the nail, we want their view to be fully painted as well, not just the top view. So when we're getting into the edge of the candy cane, that's kind of where it's the most tricky to get in there, but when we take our time and really finish it out, it's gonna look really good. And however thick you make your candy cane stripes is totally up to you and the design of your candy cane. You could also do a staggered effect where you do like a thick and then a thin and thick and a thin. You could do alternating red and green. You could do a pink candy cane, a blue candy cane, like you could do anything you want. We're doing red to kind of get that classic Coca-Cola Christmas. Okay, I'm liking how it's looking. Can everyone see it clearly?
Someone just said, thanks for such amazing ideas. Wish I didn't have to leave. I have a client now.
Oh, have fun with your client. This will be saved later, so feel free to come back and watch and paint along. Thank you everyone for being here and taking time out of your day to be a part of this class. I love painting and sharing. I got a question.
I can read it for you.
Sure.
Could you potentially paint the candy cane and then attach it to the nail after, as long as you made sure the curve matched the curve of the nail before curing?
Absolutely. You can absolutely create your own charms and place them on afterwards. And that would also, make it a little easier when we're painting around these corners. How I would do that is almost like taking a piece of saran wrap, wrapping that around a nail tip, and then like placing that candy cane onto the nail and then curing it, and then it will pop off in the correct shape. You also just want to make sure that the size that you make it is going to match the size of the client's nail. Okay, so like these nail tips, they are quite big. Like if you were to put it on a finger, it's a long nail, right? So if you're doing it on a shorter nail, just make sure that your charm is sized correctly to that client's nail or nail that you're going to put it on. If that makes sense. Yeah, because this kind of work, it definitely takes time and patience, and it's good for people who are willing to kind of sit for a little bit longer. I've definitely done sets where I do like a 3D thing like this on every nail. And we're there for like 4 hours minimum, you know, it's a lot of work. But if you just do this on one nail, you know, it's a great way to have something fun without spending an entire half day.
We have another question.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for a way to potentially do this faster in a salon where you need to be a little faster?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you were wanting to speed this process up a little bit, you could choose to kind of go a little bit more simpler on the candy cane stripes. Like maybe you're just doing like a quick diagonal and not focusing so much on the curve. Maybe you're just doing it on one nail. Maybe you don't do the disco tiles underneath and you just do a full sparkle. You know, it doesn't have to be all these layers. It's like, what can we omit? What details can we omit without, you know, taking away from the quality of the overall look? Would you have any ideas, Sid, on how to kind of speed it up? I think practicing how to paint fast too is also, like, Sid's a fast painter. She could whip this out so quick. Using a bigger brush too, like,
Yeah.
I like to use a detailer just for accuracy, but if you were to use like a painter brush, you could probably paint these stripes a lot quicker. Bella's also a great idea person, so.
I already have an idea.
Yeah, I knew you
You
did.
could do like an alternative 3D where you paint the little candy canes first and then do like a clear on top. Maybe you do a couple little ones instead. I don't know.
Oh, instead of like doing a 3D candy cane?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you paint them and then you do the clear 3D on top.
Yeah, like an
Oh,
Emboss It or
yeah, that's so
something.
smart. Okay, so yeah, paint your candy cane. Little white hook, do your little red stripes. Take the Emboss It, go on top, and just like make it 3D that way. That's a great way to get a little 3D candy cane that's quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously a different look, but
Yeah.
it'll still be
Yeah.
very cute.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm at the point where it could be good, but I'm just gonna play around with it and just like touch up details.
I love it. Looks great. I like the bigger one too.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make it as big or as small as you want.
So cute.
I assume this question is for you too. Are you doing a lot of Xmas designs in the salon yet?
No.
We're
Yeah.
not- I feel like maybe the week coming up.
Yeah,
We'll
I feel
start
like
to get
this.
them.
Yeah. Honestly, like we're in Winnipeg, right? And by this time, we usually have a bunch of snow, and we have an unusually warm weather right now, where it's kind of just raining, no snow. So it seems like our clients are kind of not as much in the Christmas nail mood. But yeah, it's definitely going to be starting very soon. I know where you guys are from, it doesn't snow, so I mean, I wonder what that's like. Like, how does that feel? Do you feel weird doing Christmas nails when there's no snow? Probably not, because you're just used to it.
Yeah. Like, what about people in like California?
Yeah,
Or-
they're like, it's Christmas.
yeah.
It's hot out.
It's weird.
It's weird. Christmas to us is like, there's 3 feet of
Blizzard.
snow on the ground.
Can't get out of your house.
Yeah,
We get one dump usually, Christical says.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Jealous.
We get like 1 a week. Minimum.
I don't know. I like the snow vibe for Christmas, but I think I would rather it be rainy than cold and snowy.
Yeah.
It's too much on the
Yeah, it
fingers.
is shocking.
Okay. So we have cured all our little stripes, and it's time to top coat. So we're taking a no wipe, and I'm going to show you how I would top coat a nail like this. So I'm going to go in with a decent amount at first, just to get everything covered and sealed in. And I'm going to make sure I get all around that candy cane and wrap it all around the nail too. So that way we have a nice sealing in our 3D gel, and everything is nice and protected. And whenever I do this kind of like 3D work on my clients, they always come back with it on. It works wonderfully. This stuff like does not go anywhere. Could you bite it off? Yeah.
Are we gonna do that? No.
No.
Will we want to? Definitely.
Yeah, does this look chewable? Absolutely. So if you have some nail biter clients or like, yeah, people who typically like to chew their nails, it's maybe not the best, but if they can refrain from that, this is a great design. Okay, so we're curing that, and that nail is all done. Very fun. So we can move on to the next one while that one is curing. So we're gonna do our little snowflake. This one I'm really excited about because we're using our new foil gel. This formula is the best foil gel I've ever used. You're gonna see how well this transfers. So
It really foils it.
It really foils it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a nice, even, healthy coat all over the entire nail. Making sure everything looks nice and smooth. Cool. So let's cure that. And we're doing that for a full 60 seconds. This one's out of the lamp, and this is how we look. We don't have too much top coat, taking away from the 3D. Everything's fully coated, looks nice and shiny. The line of light is stunning. Now we have our little candy canes.
Cute.
Cute. I kind of like the small one better. I don't know. I like both.
It definitely changes the look of it.
It does, yeah. Okay. Well, use your discretion. Whatever size you like.
I love.
Okay. So we are going to use this foil here. Like I said earlier, it could be any color. I mean, you don't want to go with a green or anything because your red is gonna kind of change how that looks. But pink with the red it's gonna cover it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The important part is that it's kind of like these like shards because it's giving ice to me. Ornament, yeah. This nail, I should say, it was inspired from an ornament that I saw. Okay, so we're just going to place that on top of the nail. Okay, and I like to kind of like pinch it on like this, going from the center and pushing out so that the foil lays nice and flat. Okay.
Look at the way it sticks.
Yeah, it's already like sticking amazing. I'm using a little bit of a finger roll. Okay. And where the creases are, I'll take like a little silicone tool and just like extra push that in. Because where it creases is kind of where it's not gonna transfer. So we just make sure we get that all on there. And you can kind of see where it's already pulling off, right? I always just kind of slowly reveal it, make sure everything looks good. Yeah.
Wow.
Pretty good. You can kind of see on the foil, like, if there was any missing parts. You can go in and just, like, lightly tap that on.
I just asked what product you're using.
So this is the Foil It Gel. And it's a new product that just came out this month. You can get it from Ugly Duckling Nails today until Sunday with 15% off with my code Allie15. I said that right? Yeah? Cool. Okay, so look at that. Excellent coverage. Any little parts that maybe didn't cover perfectly, totally fine. We're going to be covering it up with some red jelly. And I love how this looks. Okay, we're going to do 2 thinner coats today, but you could also just do 1. Depends on how opaque you want it. So this, stunning, love it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's cure that. Super simple. You know, we could go in with just like a red chrome or just a red color, a red sparkle. That's another way to kind of speed it up if you wanted to make this design a little faster. Just trying to show kind of some alternative ways that we can do a snowflake nail, because we have done, I feel like, you know, every year we're doing plenty of snowflake nails, and I'm always trying to find every season how we can do it a little differently, kind of switch it up.
What number is the jelly red?
222. The best. Yeah.
It's lucky.
It's lucky. Okay. We're going to go in with that second coat. And you'll see how stunning. Easy peasy. The red sparkle that came out with the black tie collection, I would also use that for a nail like this. It's a beautiful foil gel, a lot like the silver, but it has kind of like a red jelly tint to it. That would look beautiful with this nail. Okay. So after we have that nail cured, I'm going to go in with no wipe. And the reason being is we're sealing that nail before we add the design so it can be 3D. 049. Yeah. We don't sell the foils, but you can kind of get them everywhere. Yeah. Okay. So, let's seal this in with our no wipe top coat.
Yeah, that looks great on the camera.
Beautiful. Okay. And cure. Beautiful. I love that. I'm obsessed with foils again. Foil It Gel really changed it for me. I think they were collecting dust for a long time. And now I'm pulling them out again.
That's very true. They're in the bottom of the drawers.
Yeah. Okay, so now, while that's curing, I'm gonna get my white art gel. This bottle's awful. But it's something I want to mention that it can often separate a little bit. And if you want your lines to be as crisp as possible, give it a little stir. Because if you get that top layer, it's mixed with a little bit of clear, and then you're not going to get that super pigmented line. Okay. So we're going to put that on our palette. Okay. We go through a lot of white and black art gel here.
You made it by the pailful.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we have our nail cured, and we're gonna go in with our snowflake. So This is going to be a lot of working with your brush, getting lines that are thick and then thin. So I'm going to show you a little bit on the palette. And this is how I always teach my students to warm up when doing lines like this, when we're not used to doing line work. So I grab an amount on the brush that kind of looks like this. So it's a little bit thicker on the edge. And when I place down, I add a lot of pressure. And then I pull up, and that's how we get our line to be like thick and then thin. Okay, so practice as much as you need, like on a palette or a practice nail before, just to kind of warm up a little bit if needed. Okay, I'm gonna go into the nail now, and I'm gonna really steady myself, anchoring with the pinky, holding my brush perpendicular to the nail, lining myself up center, getting contact with the nail, pressure, 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 and then pull up. Okay. We can touch that up a little bit as needed. Okay, so
little minnow guy.
Yeah, just little minnows.
The tadpole.
Yeah, it's giving tadpole. Okay, now we're gonna do on the opposite end, nice and center, pulling down. See how I'm anchored? I have my brush exactly where I want it. I was going here, now I'm going here. Oh, you always want to set yourself up so you're nice and straight and very anchored to the nail. Okay. Now we're gonna go in on the left. And if you're with a client, you'll turn your hand like this, right? Or if you have a nail tip, you can kind of turn it and go the way you're comfortable. Or you can have your client get them to face their hands up. Can I show with yours? No. Yeah. You want to have them faced up like this, and then go from it that way. So just like that. There we go. Whatever you're most comfortable with. And then we're gonna go do the same thing in between.
They kind of look like the fish in Animal Crossing, like when they're under the water.
Oh my god, cute.
I was wondering, I was trying to figure out if anyone's played Animal Crossing here. I don't know, it might be niche. But I'm hoping I see some.
Oh, Natasha's here. She knows.
I think Cass is here too. We all had our COVID moment.
Okay.
I literally played it last night.
Okay, so we have our little spikes. Now we're gonna go in for these little guys in between. And we're kind of doing the opposite. So instead of going out, we're gonna be pulling in. So, same vibe though. Pressure and then release. And then little side pieces like that. And I'm gonna go in between all of the spaces. Perfect.
Love it.
So we got our little base for our snowflake. Now we're just going to add dots. You can go ahead and grab a dotter tool, but I like to just grab with my detailer brush. We're going to do a spot in the middle. And then dotting at the tip of each of these little guys, our little minnows. Just like that. Okay, so we're not going to cure this because we're going to give it like a sugared effect. So we're going to use this glitter here. You can use a scoop to scoop it on, or you can just kind of pour it on. I usually will have like a little lid for the sparkle, and I face the nail downwards, and I just tap it on. So we make sure that it's fully covered, and we give it a second to soak in. It needs a moment just to soak in all of the glitter or the powder into the gel, so that way it fully becomes, what would you call this? Embossed? No. Kind of?
Yeah.
Textured. Okay, so once it's had a moment to soak, I'm just going to tap off the excess. And that's what it should look like. And we're going to give it a cure. So an alternative, if you don't have a sparkle like this, is you can use a clear acrylic. Just make sure that whatever you're using is super fine, because that's going to get us the most crisp effect. If you use like thicker glitter, it will work, but it will take away from your crispness of the design. Okay.
Someone said, would this technique work with the Ugly Duckling acrylic powders too?
Yeah, absolutely. I always use the clear acrylic powder from Ugly Duckling, just to sprinkle it on top.
And you could put like any color underneath too, and it would shine through. Is that
Yeah,
the clear acrylic?
Yeah, absolutely. You just want to make sure that it's a color that will cure properly. If it's a super pigmented color, sometimes it has a problem with curing properly. I did use the green art gel once with acrylic on top, and it did have a hard time staying. It ended up chipping off a bit on my client. So it just depends. Okay, so we're going to brush off the excess, and there is our final nail. Okay.
Go so fast.
Easy peasy. You can also do an easier snowflake, but I kind of wanted to show a different option. Okay. So for our last nail, and we're gonna do our little Diet Coke. Okay. So I'm gonna take a little sip of Diet Coke. Feel free to do that with me.
ASMR.
Okay. So we are going to start with a coat of black so that our chrome shines through. All you need is one coat because it covers great, and we're going to be putting all that chrome on top. Okay, just like that. And here, 60 seconds. And then we're going to be using our no wipe top coat. Okay, to get the chrome to attach. So this is the silver chrome. Just something that looks like this. We're gonna not do that on camera today because I want to keep everything nice and clean. So I'll just show you Food Network style.
TV magic.
With the TV magic, I will show you. Okay, we're getting a nice thin, even layer of our no wipe top coat. You want to make sure that it's like perfectly even because any bumps are going to show through your chrome. Okay, cure that for 60 seconds. Okay, and then when you put the chrome on, it's going to look like this. Yeah.
Wow, how did you do that?
That's crazy.
So avoiding all the sparkles on the desk today. Here we go. We got a fully chromed nail. I'm also going to go ahead and top coat after the chrome. That way we are going to avoid having to, if we make any mistakes, we are not going to wipe off our chrome. Okay. Let's cure. It's Diet Coke time, yes. Okay, so we have our red art gel on our palette, and we're going to be grabbing our detail brush, and we're going to be doing the Diet Coke logo. So I have a few tips when we're creating a text, and I'm going to show you how I do that. So I always like to make sure that I have a reference. So I have my Diet Coke right here. But typically I'll pull up a photo on a camera, or sorry, like on your phone. And I try to envision how it's going to lay out on the entire nail. Okay, so we're aiming to start the C right here and then end up at the end of the nail. So we size it out appropriately. Okay, so can I use your phone for a reference?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So here's the reference photo that I had used. So imagine that this whole can is like the size of the nail. And we will scale it down as needed. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to be sizing out by placing where the C starts and where it's going to end. Okay. Kind of lining it up. And I'm going to do my outside line first so we can find our parameters. Okay, so as we can see in the photo here, it goes from thin to thick and then back to thin. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and thicken out my line where needed. Okay, and then the C is going to come down to a point and just attach.
Krista says, Allie, what is your favorite art to do? What a question to ask you.
That is, yeah, that's hard.
As you're painting a small Coke design.
So I really enjoy doing anything that's like kind of 3D or textured, or like lots of layers. I also do enjoy portraits and kind of recreating stuff like this where it's like logos. It's a fun challenge. Yeah, I would say those are my favorite. So when I'm lining out the O, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just trying to make sure that it is in relation to the C, the proper size. So when I look at my inspo here, I have the C, how it lines up with the top of the O. I have it lined up here, right? The bottom of this is going to line up with that. And now, once I have my size proportions correct, is when I'm gonna thicken out the areas that need it and make it more like true to the font. Okay. So I see that the C is attached to the O, so I make sure that that is accurate there. Just touching up little spots as I go. And now we're gonna do the...
See that comment?
No, I didn't.
Allie out here with the steadiest hand I've ever seen.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm so shaky right now. It's live is scary.
It does not showing.
It's not translating.
No.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, so now we have our K. It has a little bit of a space between the K and the O, and it lines up to the top of the C. So, knowing that, we're going to put in our line. And make it nice and thick. Okay. And we have a straight edge on the bottom and a little bit of a jut out at the top. So I'm going to make sure that mirrors it. Now we're gonna pull out. Oops. I painted on your phone a little bit.
It's fine. Just leave it.
There we go. Yeah, so this line that goes this way, it's gonna match up a little bit with the O and a little bit above. So just like that.
We have a question.
Yeah.
How did you make your chrome so chrome and not glittery?
Okay, so in order to make it really chrome and not glittery, making sure that you cure your top coat for less than 60 seconds and like no longer than 60 seconds, sorry. Kind of finding that like happy medium with whatever chrome you're using. I know for the silver chrome that I have, it needs to be no longer than 60 seconds, but it also has to be no shorter either. Some chromes you need to do for like 30, some need to be 45. That's important because you can see I kind of did like another one. It's very much similar, but slightly more dull, if you can tell. That's because it cured for literally just like a few seconds too long. Okay, and then also using a sponge to get rid of all the extra chrome dust at the end. So I'll always give it a dust and then I'll use a sponge after to get rid of any of the extra little powders. Okay. So the K is going to come out and up to match up with the E. And it also has a little detail on top.
A little serif.
Serif, there you go. Thank you, Sid. I was really trying to find the word. Okay, so for the E, I'm going to start it here where it attaches. And I see that it is in line with the K. So we're going to make that happen. And it's nice and rounded around the edge. And the bottom comes up to a point. Okay.
Someone said, do you flash cure any of these letters as you go?
I don't, but you could. If you're going to do a flash cure, just know that if you are going to go in and try to adjust anything after, then it's going to look like a layer on top rather than blend in, which is totally fine. It should blend in with your final top coat. But I do like to try and do it all at once.
Loading on the edge.
Yeah. The whole of the E is kind of like straight and then curved. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. And it's thickest at the curve on the outside. Okay.
This red is the Ugly Duckling Art Gel.
Yep.
It's very pigmented and definitely stays in place for
Yeah.
designs like this.
Definitely. Yeah, like it's not going to spread on you. So, I mean, the flash cure isn't necessary unless you feel like maybe you're going to smudge while you're working, which is definitely a possibility. I would say the one thing that I would like change about this is the thickness here. It's not as thin as the C on here, but it just depends on how accurate you want to be. If you wanted to clean that up, you could, just with a 3D acrylic brush. I like to use that for cleanup, so let's try. I might mess it up.
This might be.
Fingers crossed.
Might find out what happens when you don't flash cure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, not bad. Crystal, it looks good, honestly. Yeah, well.
Yeah, well, perfectionism.
There we go. A little better. Let's cure that before we make any mistakes.
Yeah, Natasha's holding her breath, so here.
Yeah.
It needs to breathe. Hurry.
Everyone needs
Everyone
a
take
second to
deep breath
breathe.
collectively.
Okay, let's collectively
Get your
breathe
lo-fi
in.
beats on. Relax. Get your Diet Coke. Now's the time for a sip.
Yes. Shake it out.
Relax your shoulders.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the diet part. This is the hard part. Okay, because we're going a little bit smaller with the text, and it's also very like curvature. So we're gonna take our time. We're gonna do this together. We got this. Okay, so let's do this. Here's where we're gonna place it. It's starting at the beginning of the top of the K, and it should end at the end of the E, right? So, starting right where the edge, see how these two edges meet up here? That's where I'm gonna start. Okay. So that's my starting point, and I'm gonna do a swoop. Okay. And the D is going to come all the way around.
It's really hard to do with the phone right in front of your face.
Yeah, that
You're
definitely.
doing great.
Thank you. Am I in frame?
No.
Okay. Right.
Don't worry about it, it's fine. I can try tilting your phone a bit too. Natasha says maybe that'll help.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, do that.
That's a bit better, yeah.
Cool.
All the comments are hiding your insane line work, Natasha says.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
the
that makes
bottom
sense.
is all covered.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's move on to the next letter and maybe adjust as we go. Uh-oh, the shakes are coming. Okay. So I'm just gonna lightly add in the rest of these letters, make sure they are all gonna fit, and then I'll kind of fix them up as I go. Making sure that everything's lining up. Okay. Cool. So you can kind of see I traced out, making sure everything's gonna fit here, and now I'm gonna thicken everything up. But it looks like we're gonna have just enough room.
She's using the Ugly Duckling Detailer 2
Yes.
brush.
Yeah.
Just baseline assume that at all times.
Yeah. Default is Detailer 2.
It's like attached to your hand at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. It really is. Okay. It's coming together. Honestly, are you doing a realistic logo or portrait if you didn't panic? It's part of the process. I feel like that's also just kind of like a good point or like learning moment, is that even if you're super practiced at doing like super detail work, it's very normal to have a moment where you're like, I don't know if this is gonna turn out you really gotta just like trust yourself and trust the process. You know, like, is it exact? No, but like this looks like a Diet Coke nail. I feel like it's getting our message across. I like to kind of like take a step back, look at it from further away, you know, and instead of being zoomed in times 10, I kind of take a look at what it would look like in real life, see how it's looking, and adjust as needed. Does that make sense? You know, like, kind of take a second to look away.
Yeah. Every time I do that, my clients are like, do you not like it? What's going on? When I take a moment to judge it.
Like, I'm just analyzing.
I'm just looking at it. Okay.
Yeah, most people will look at it from farther away than
Yeah.
close. It's like your client. They'll probably be doing
I wanted to look good up close, but like, yeah, it's like, are people looking as microscopically as I am? Maybe not.
Maybe.
Maybe not. I am curing that, and then we're going to go in with the no wipe top coat before we add the little water droplet texture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can have that back. So we're gonna use the Emboss It for our water droplet texture. I'm very excited about that. We're gonna float on a top coat, thick enough that your details all are like encased within the top coat and it doesn't look bumpy at all. Okay. Will there be more classes like this in the future? Yes, absolutely. I feel like Ugly Duckling is always trying to host live classes. We've done 11 of them. This is the 11th one this year. And there's going to be another one next month, the last one for December. Yeah. And just a reminder to use code ALLY15 for 15% off your purchase with Ugly Duckling until Sunday. Okay. So, to get our water droplets, we're going to go in with the Emboss It, and I have a thick amount on my brush. And on top of the cured nail, we're just going to add little drops of the product. I make contact with the nail and then I pull directly up so that the string that pulls up, we don't want to like very quickly remove it and go like this, because then the string is going to drag and not look like a water droplet. Okay. This could also be done with a daughter tool. It's whatever your preference is. Another note when you're doing this is if there was any areas that like maybe you felt weren't as great as you wanted them to be, you can kind of cover them with a little drop. And it's gonna diffuse it a little bit. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing varying sizes of larger and smaller, concentrating it in some areas more than others. We really want to have variation with this and not keeping it like very, what's the word, like you don't want it in a pattern. Mm-hmm. You want it to be very random. Yeah, organic, exactly.
Yeah, great word.
So I'll make sure I do like a couple really close together and then I'll go in another area so it's totally far apart until I like how it looks until I feel like it's representing a frosty can of Diet Coke. And I like how that looks. You know, some areas have it, some don't.
Yeah, you don't want it to look uniform.
Yeah, uniform is not what we want. Thank you, Natasha. Okay, so we'll cure that for 60 seconds. And then we are all done. So, let's pop all the nails on that we did today. Cute. Okay. Oh, okay. So here is the final look. All 3 nails for our Coca-Cola Christmas. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today. I really appreciate you all being here and learning with me and following along. If you're watching the replay and you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always open in the DMs for questions. So thank you so much for being here.
Don't forget to use the code.
Yeah, don't forget to use code ALLIE15 at checkout until Sunday. 15% off. And grab some of these products. Thank you so much. Bye.